What is up, YouTube? That's here, and today I'm doing more Patreon team fixing. Today we're using a super cool team. This is using Dragon Terra Scope Lens, Calyrex Ice next to Dragon Cheer Roaring Moon. This is like a Dragon Cheer to get automatic, like full crit every single time Glacial Lance with Calyrex Ice on a little bit of like a pseudo tail room core. Really, really cool stuff. This is submitted on my Patreon. You guys can check that out right here. If you guys have a team you guys want me to take a look at, do my absolute best to fix, make a video just like I'm going to do here. Think about checking out that link to the Patreon. Like I said, the lowest tier gets access to all this stuff. So here we go. We're scrolling down. This is going to be Baconier's team right here. So they say they wanted to build around Calyrex Ice because it's their favorite legendary. You have good taste, my friend. I've really been intrigued by Dragon Cheer since it was released, so I wanted to combine the two. Cali Ice is here to do its fairly standard job, just with the addition of Dragon Terra and Scope Lens to get the guaranteed crits. Max speed hits 112 to outspeed Cali Shadow while in Tailwind, while I went Stomping Tantrum over High Horsepower because I don't like to miss, right? Really, really good stuff. I like that they knew that they needed to get to that 112 to outspeed Cali Shadow. I can respect the addition of the Stomping Tantrum. I like how deliberate you are with your team submission here. Talking about the Inrto is on the team to make it look like Trick Room, while still providing a trick room if you need it, which is very, very nice. They're using the Water Spider here. It's really, really good. Like, I love the Wide Guard user. I think a lot of people go Pelipper here, but I really, really like the Water Spider. Urshi Dark's good and doing Urshifu things. Roaring Moon is the main support for Cali Ice. Fast Taunt and Snarls felt really strong. Gouging Fire is just an offensive threat with Howl as an additional way to set up Cali Ice. So I think their team is absolutely amazing. Checking out this rental one more time, I think they hit a lot of things out of the park. I think the Cali's great. Inrto is definitely acceptable on this team. Water Spider is the perfect partner for Cali Ice. It makes his team look like it's a really, really big Trick Room team. And you could just go Trick Room if you wanted to, so it's really, really good. Urshifu's always solid. Roaring Moon, I think, could be optimized a little bit, and the Gouging Fire, I think, could be optimized a little bit as well. If we take a look at the actual EVs here, you can see this is a very, very aggressive, fast Cali Ice. This is a Tailwind team, so really, really good stuff. We don't have that much attack investment, and I've been saying this for such a long time. You don't need a lot of attack investment on Cali. After you get one as one proc, you are off to the races. So good stuff here. I think we need to clean up this set just a little bit, because I think Inrto can be optimized to better facilitate what this team needs. I think Urshi can be optimized a little bit as well. I like the 252. I like the bulky Urshi, but there are better ways to do it, so I'll be giving you some cool EV spreads in the team fixing section. I think Roaring Moon can be cleaned up just a little bit. There are a couple things that I think still KO this set, specifically from things like Flutter Mane that I'm worried about, but I do think that like this is the right way to look at it. And last but not least, I think the Gouging Fire could probably be changed into something that provides a little bit more pivot potential from things that pin us like that Flutter Mane. So that being said, I think this team is great, but we're going to go play some games. What we're going to be doing is playing 2 or 3 games with this team on the ranked ladder in-game, and then we're going to be going to a team fixing section where I clean up everything that I think needs to be cleaned up and give my opinions on why we would be making those changes, and then we're going to play a few more games with a fixed team on Showdown. So if that sounds like fun, sit back, max, relax, and let's hop into it. Wish me luck. Here we go. Alright, so going into this one, like, Torkoal's normally like a really, really bad matchup for Cali Ice, but I really like that the Dragon Terra on Cali Ice can help us fight Torkoal. We also have like the Water Spider. I think like Gouging Fire is probably the one mon on this team that could be changed for a couple other mons that could help in this matchup, but that's a really cool team on the opponent's side. They have Koraidon, they have Torkoal. I think the one thing we really have to avoid is getting blown out by that Flutter, and so I really like how bulky you made this Cali Ice with like heavy HP and SpDef investment. So really, really good stuff there. I think we can still lead Cali. I don't know if we need to necessarily even Trick Room this, because we outspeed most of those mons if we get up Tailwind. So I think I'm going to lead Cali Ice and Roaring Moon. And I want to go for like the Dragon Cheer, but I might just... What's the Terra on this Roaring Moon? The Terra is Ghost. I bet we could live. Ooh, we need to fix that EV spread, because the EV spread, you're wasting a little bit too many points in HP on that, because Roaring Moon is such a high base. Alright, so we still want to lead these. We could even just lead like this and go Trick Room, but they know that that's what we want to do, so we're gonna try and pull a fast one. We're gonna go these, and then I'm really wondering what the last spot is. We don't necessarily need Flutter, and I don't really think like Gouging Fire is great in this matchup. I'm gonna bring Inrto for like a mid-game Trick Room setter / redirector from single target damage. I think the biggest things about this team, I think you got a lot of the sets like really good. I really like the Cali Ice set. We can clean up a little bit. Spider's a great choice here. Urshifu's a great choice. Roaring Moon, these all go very, very well together. This can probably be replaced for something that could have come in this matchup, maybe for something like an Amoonguss to give ourselves a good fairy pivot, because right now we just don't really have one. And you know, I think the Inrto set can be a little bit optimized, but I think it's great so far. So we see the Event Flutter and Koraidon. So far, it's really questionable as like what they have to respect our ability to go Tailwind and Trick Room. They definitely still do. But I'm trying to think what is the right thing to do here. Because if they walk into like a Moonblast and they're like spexed, yeah, there's a speed boost over there. Okay, it's good for us to get a speed boost, not a. I mean, if we got a speed boost, we could have done something too. But sorry, if they got a special attack boost, we could have done something. But yeah, I'm curious as to what they're gonna lock in. It's hard to say. This is like a little bit of a 50-50 here. Again, I don't think we really need to. I think I'm gonna try and play it greedy. I'm gonna go Protect, and I'm gonna go with Tailwind. And I think they're gonna over-respect Cali. I think they're gonna go like Moonblast and attack Cali because they feel that like that's the one that's a major threat. They could still have the Torkoal in the back, so if they are attacking the Roaring Moon instead, that would mean they're going after the Torkoal. So another reason why we're also going with this play is we're trying to get the Tailwind up to do a Tailwind game. But if they lock into like a Moonblast, and I'm assuming they're locking in, assuming that they're specs, if they're going big into that Cali slot, we just bring in the Entity and then go Redirection. So let's see who they're really targeting here. They could just D-Gleam here, which is if Moonblast. They you know, a little bit never lucky here, but do you see how this is still completely fine? So we forced them to make like a, I'm not going to say like a deep read, but like a deep play. We forced them to really like leave their Flutter exposed, and then we still technically get what we want out of it. So it's not like an amazing, like it would have been really, really nice to get that Tailwind up and then do all the stuff that we wanted to do, but I still think we're going to be able to be all right. In this situation, this is where I really think like a Sash Entity on this team would be like really, really nice. If we take a look at this team, you're not really using your Sash because you're not using Sash Urshi. We're talking about making this into a Moongus. Sash on Entity would be really, really good here to be able to stop these big single target attacker mons from just tearing through your team. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to go, I'm going to try the Trick Room here and just going to go for the Follow Me. And I'm assuming that they're locked in, so like the problem here would be like if we do get O-code, like a Sash would be able to prevent that. So let's see if we can eat this Moonblast. Taunt! So he's not specs, so maybe they're sashed. It's a good set. I mean, Taunt's completely fine. And Iron Head. Cool, we eat those for breakfast. So Sash would have been fine there, but Trick Room does go up. The Entity has Dazzling, which is the perfect move here. It's going to be able to really chunk that Koraidon and break that Flutter Sash. The only problem I'm seeing here, though, is that like we have like no attack investment without the crit. I mean, I guess we could just crit from the +1 stage boost, but we didn't get the Dragon Cheer up. So if we didn't want to replace that Gouging Fire, we could even think about making that a second Dragon Cheer user, because it would have been a much better Dragon Cheer user into like a Flutter team like this. But I'm sure, as a person who admitted the team knows Bacon or VGC, like this is probably like a really, really bad matchup. Not only does the Koraidon really pin the Calyrex, and even if we were to go Terra, like we're still pinned. It's kind of just that, like, Flutter does a lot to our team too. This is gonna be great though. Big damage. Amazing! Is that a crit on the Flutter? Oh, dude, this is a crit on the Flutter! And they don't know that we have these scope ones. I remember, right? So we're gonna get the +2 boost here. We only have like 4 points in attack, but now like we get the +2. Chilling Day all the way. That's what we say. We're gonna be able to close it probably, right? I don't think their team had like wide guard users. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, we're just gonna go Terra. I think that's probably fine. Yeah. Cool. And then we have an Urshi to be able to come in the back. I think the Urshi set could be a little bit optimized. I have a really cool Urshi set to give you if you want to try that out as well. But yeah, right here, they're not expecting like this. So big Dragon Terra. Yo. And yeah, we're still taunted here, so you might as well just go for a D-Gleam. Be able to, we don't know where the Sash is, but like we're still gonna be respecting. What if they went like with some sort of like weird Terra? They're probably just gonna double dip fire, but like we have such good Spadef investment, and I think that like we could have just went for a Stomping Tantrum. I'd like to get the Entity off the board, maybe then weave in a Protect, something like that. We should be fine. All right, big Dragon Terra Calyrex. I do like Dragon Terra and Calyrex. It does help against these like fire weaknesses, but it's really, really good into like all of the Ogre Pawns and stuff like that would really like to pin us. It's just kind of bad against like specifically like Flutter Mane, because Flutter Mane already pins a Shadow Ball and we have to Terra away. Oh, they're going Helping Hand. So this is probably like Specs Torkoal Helping Hand. Let's see how well we eat this. Survey says Massive Eruption. I probably could have, if I had high horsepower, maybe I would have used that. We do eat that. We do be eating good in the neighborhood out here. Okay. How much damage is this doing to this Torkoal? Probably going to be 40? About 35. We didn't break the Indy either. Ah, close, 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 close. Helping Hand will get the KO here. I think. Helping Hand Eruption will get another one. We need to wait out the Sun. Last turn Sun. Okay, cool. So we're just going to drop a double Protect. Wait out the Sun. And then we're going to try and get it. It's possible without the Sun that we get that. Okay. There's another Helping Hand. That Entity's chonky. What if we crit the Torque? That would have been so nice. Or if we crit the Entity and got that thing off the board, that would have been really, really nice. Because, like, this Helping Hand is a humongous multiplier. There's still a shot our Cali goes down, though. There's still a shot. It's probably, like, an Eruption that's... Let's see. Maybe I'll run the calc here. I mean, I would have time to run the calc, but I'm just going to guess. Let's see. Maybe, like, 102 power? Because it's still pretty healthy. Let's see. Yeah, we might still go down. Urshi actually could have been optimized to live, I think, this. But we're just going to do our best here. Glacial Lancers want to check the Trick Room turns here. Last turn Trick Room. So maybe we should have, like, protected with Kali and Indidi, and then went for the full Terra play, and then, like, protected again, and then, like, brought in the Urshi. That might have been a little bit better to wait out our own Trick Room. Or maybe even Trick Room to the Trick Room. I don't think that was the right play, to Trick Room the Trick Room, the one turn that we attacked. Because, like, what if the Entity Trick Roomed it back? That would have been just an L right there. We're going to try our best. Survey says, Helping Hand, no Sun, not full health Terrafire Eruption into a Dragon Terra Cali Ice. So let's see it. We hold. And the Urshi's at 1, dude! Oh my gosh! They're like, I hate Sash Urshi. It's not even Sash, bro. Dude, it's not even Sashed. We just got that chonk Eevee. I think we're like 252 HP. Yeah, so we're actually taking a look at this like Urshifu Eevee spread like over here. It's just 252 HP. There is so many other ways we can optimize it. Urshifu has 100 base HP, so you don't need to put like that much in. We're going to show you a really, really cool Urshi set in the team building part of this video, but I think this team is doing a lot of things right. It has good Terras, it has good move choices. We just need to optimize, clean up some of these EVs. We can optimize this EV spread, we can change this up, and I think this team is going to be really, really fun. The fact that we won that, which is a terrible matchup, means that this team actually is doing like a lot of things right, so I'm super excited. Dude, more Torkoal, man. These guys, and more Flutters. Like, bro, come on, I'm just trying to play out here. Okay, all right. This is where if we had that Sash Indidi and we had like guaranteed redirection, I would just go like redirection Cali. But I know we're trying to make this team feature the Roaring Moon, right? So like I am going to do the same lead. And we're just going to see how this one goes. The problem, I think, with this core I really like the Dragon Cheer tech, but like we need to Tailwind and Dragon Cheer, which means we have to even that protect with Cali. So we have to get them to double into the Cali on the first turn. And like that team really excels at breaking the Roaring Moon to enable things in the back like an Urshi to break the Cali. So and Torkoal to break the Cali. So it's not a great matchup, but we're doing the best that we can with what we have, right? We won the last game. We beat the legendary Scarlet Restricted. We're going to beat the legendary Violent to the regional champion, Miraidon. Yeah, I don't know if I told you guys, but like I played against the guy that won the regional at the regional. He was my round 2 opponent. We had a really, really close set. And yeah, Miraidon hits pretty hard. I respected it. Like I knew full well whenever it was time for that thing to deal damage that it was time. They lead Torkoal. Okay. Here we go. This is going to be fun. I want to check out the Roaring Moon EV spread that you have here. I like that you're actually still going with the 252 set. We can check it out right here. 252 set on the Roaring Moon is really, really nice. So you're going to be able to outspeed basically everything. You're always knowing that you're faster. So we're getting that big speed boost. So right now we are like low-key threatening some of these mons. I can do this one of two ways. I can go like, you know, knock off the Torkoal or snarl. I can snarl things. I can taunt things. There's a lot of things I can do. I think what I'm going to do though is just let the Walking Wake do whatever. Go for my Dragon Cheer, Dragon Terra. Hopefully get a KO on the Walking Wake, and then like bring out Indidi to redirect, go for just another big set of damage. I think that's going to be a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if they had like Overheat on that Torkoal, right? I think it's more of an Overheat set. So I'm just going to go big damage. So massive Glacial Lance. I don't really need to set Trick Room or anything right now. And the big Dragon Cheer. No way they see this coming, bro. No way. No way. No way, Jose. And if we can break this Walking Wake, even if we lose the Roaring Moon here, we have the right redirection mons in the back. This is where, like, an Amoonguss and Indeedee like double redirection core to just let your Cali just like, you don't even care about speed control, just go like pop, 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 and just break everything. Like this is where an Amoonguss would be like really, really good. So Dragon Cheers up. Remember, we already had a +1 crit boost from our scope lens. Now we're getting +2, which is a max of +3, which means every single Glacial Lance will crit. Dragon Pulse into this guy's absolutely fine. I really want to still KO that Walking Wake, but I don't know if we do. And I hope they're not sticking Yawn. I hope it's just like an overheat. Glacial Lance. Let's go. Big damage. Oof. Yeah, not lucky yet. Crit the Torkoal. It's a crit every time, right? Yeah. I wonder if this guy's like, what? Heat Wave. That's completely fine, especially when it misses. We take those all the way to the bank. All right. So let's see. We could bring out Urshi here and just Sucker Punch, but they know we have it. I think that Indeedee is the right play here. And we just go Trick Room. I think that Trick Room is still completely fine. Problem is, like, who do we want to Trick Room with? Because we technically can with either of these Pokemon. We can even just like redirection Trick Room. I don't know if we need to do that. I think what I will do is just like, I think I'm gonna go Protect, and I'm actually gonna Trick Room with the Indeedee. It's a little bit cheeky, but only because we have that weakness to the Walking Wake right now, and we don't know if it's choiced. And Indeedee does have a Citrus Berry, right? Yeah. So we force them to respect our Calyrex, and even if they were to hit us with the Deep Pulse on the Indeedee side, we'd proc our Citrus Berry and hopefully be able to live the Torkoal move if it can ever even hit its moves. So now the Trick Room is up, and Indeedee's not doing too hot. Dude, this Torkoal's blind, dude. This Torkoal's like my Chi-Yu over there. We just Trick Room them, which, like, remember, the Torkoal's already, like, pretty weak. So I think we're in a pretty good spot here. We're just going to click that absolutely massive Lance. And this Indeedee set, I think it's fine. I like the Protect on Indeedee. It might be nice to have, like, a helping hand over Protect here in future matchups. I don't know if we want to swap in our Urshi, but we don't need to follow me. I don't think that that Torkoal has Yawn. I think if it had Yawn in any of those situations, it might have been using it. So I'm just going to... But if we do get Yawned, it would be game. I will respect your Yawn, because, like, we don't need to Dazzle anything. Actually, Dazzle might break the Walking Wake, would make us do single target damage. Oh, you know what? I'll do this. It's fine. I want to see our Indeedee EV spread investment. Yeah, we don't have any points. Yeah, they hit us. It's absolutely fine. Sucks when we get burned, but it's okay. Here we go. He finally hits, yo. And if this would break the Wake, like Stomping Tantrum, yeah, I'm glad that we still clicked Lance. I'm glad that we still clicked it. Like, I think it was still correct. Let me think, though. I just don't really have faith in Stomping Tantrum over the high horsepower. I understand, like, not wanting to miss. But I still think, like, if you're using moves that can miss and you're afraid of missing, like, you shouldn't be... You shouldn't necessarily, like, make your team weaker, because in most situations you would play, if you were to run the same game back, like, 9 times out of 10, you would still win those 9 times out of 10, which means, like, over time, your win rate would rise because you're using the correct moves for the situations. Like, the reason why we haven't been using Stomping Tantrum in a lot of these situations is just because, like, it won't get the KO even with the crit before we get the As-1 procs. So that's just my opinion on it. You know, if you want to run Stomping Tantrum, it's fine. But this situation, we go for the D-Gleam here. They can weave in Protect on the Urshi, but I still think we're fine. Heat Wave again. Please no Burnerino, mi amigo, Frappuccino. Oh my god, never lucky. Dude, this Torkoal started out missing 2 Heat Waves, and he's like, you know what? You know I'm just going to burn the other 2, right? Like, you know I'm just going to burn them? Like, literally quite the amount of a never lucky. We still should be able to break this Urshi, but, like, oh my gosh. Dude, I didn't know we were fighting against Burning Jealousy Torkoal out here. I didn't know. Alright. Still, I wonder if this guy's like, wow, he's so lucky. He seems to crit every time. That's so lucky. Oh my gosh. Alright, so what's the last mon? Koraidon, Walking Wake, Urshi. Was that it? Is that it? We just win? GG's? I guess we'll get to use Stomping Tantrum? Yeah, I mean, I wonder if the Urshi was banded. I wonder why it didn't Protect, you know? The world may never know. Yeah, Fluttermane's the last mon. Yeah, they didn't bring Koraidon. Koraidon was the last game. I'm so sorry. I saw the sun. I saw the other mons. This is probably still not great then. I think about that. We got +2, but we are big Burnerino'd. Turns on Terrain are 2, so we need to actually open up a slot. I actually think it might be a better play to, like, Stomping Tantrum the Torkoal this turn, but I'll Lance and D-Gleam. I think that's still probably fine. Stomping Tantrum and that Torkoal would be really, really good, because it would just open up a slot for us to bring in Urshi and win, but I think we're still fine. I think we're okay. Heat Wave, yep. Back to the missing again, I see. Thank you. Appreciate you. Long time, good buddy. Big D-Gleam. We might still break the Torkoal here with the Lance. And we just need to soften up the Flutter for the Urshi. Boom. Ooh, that's more than soft, yo. Oh my gosh, still get the Oko. I thought the Flutter might be a little bit bulkier, but yeah, we're going to be taking those. I would say things like Torkoal and Flutters are bad matchups for this team. They really pin the Roaring Moon. They make it a lot harder to use the Cali. They can get those big burns. But I would say that this team did a pretty good job. I'm surprised they didn't want to bring Miraidon, but like at the same time, like we didn't give Miraidon a shot to do anything. We brought Redirection. We brought like a ton of damage. We didn't even need our Urshi in the background. So yeah, I think this team plays pretty well, but you can see the small little things I recommended. See, like if we had this Pokemon here, if we had this Pokemon here, or this EV spread or this item, we could have actually leveraged more of an advantage, and we wouldn't be forced to play like as reactive as we were playing. We weren't kind of hoping we get up Trick Room or Dragon Cheer. We'd be able to dictate play a little bit more through the use of like, you know, more standard redirection or better items. So what we're going to do now is we are going to go check out the rental code one more time. You guys can absolutely try this rental. Really, really cool team. It obviously works. There's nothing at all wrong with it. If I were to give a rating system to this team, like rate it out of 1 to 100, I would say that this team probably has, let's think about it. Because it's a meme team, right? It's a cheeky team, so it actually gets like extra points in my opinion. I would say I'd give it like an 88, maybe an 87, because I think that some of these things can be optimized here. I think that like your EV spread here could be slightly optimized, maybe your moveset a little bit. This EV spread can definitely be cleaned up. I've used like these similar Urshi sets in the past, and I really think you can optimize it a little bit. You're wasting some points in HP, and you actually want a little bit of speed to actually still be able to function in Tailwind, in my opinion. Gouging Fire is just not needed on this team. It's basically like a discount Roaring Moon, and you don't need to double up on the Roaring Moon unless you're making this into a second Dragon Cheer Mom, which you don't necessarily need to do. A Fairy Resist is kind of what you need here. This guy is fine. I think this is a good Mon. I think you knocked it out of the park on this one. This one's perfect. Inrto, I think you should make this into a Sash set with like heavy speed investment, actually leverage advantage once you get Tailwind up. So if you go like, let's say your perfect matchup, you want to think of what your perfect matchup is. You go Tailwind, Protect, Dragon Cheer, Cali, maybe this dies. If it doesn't, it's just using like Snarls and things like that. You know, that's completely fine. This thing goes down, then you bring out your Inrto. You have Redirection if you need it, but you can also just KO them, right? And then you close with like an Urshi, right? That's what I like. Maybe on the last turn of your tail when you're Trick Rooming with something like this to enable like your Cali and your Urshi to close in the late game. So that would be the idea for how this team wants to work. So let's just start doing the team fixing here. And if you guys have a team you guys want to submit, think about checking out the link in the description to my Patreon. I'll make a video just like this over all the teams that get submitted. And, you know, we have a long time in Reg G, so I'm going to try and get to all of them this month. So let's start fixing this team up. I really think that you need to hit this exact speed threshold, so you did a really, really good job here getting the 112. This is going to double to outspeed Calyrexes, Calyrex Shadow Riders, and things like Zacians. So in the Tailwind, good job right there. I think, though, that Cali's one of those Mons that gets... It has such crack stats, like 100, 150, 130. You're going to get better returns by just, like... something like this. I know it sounds really weird, but you know, when you put points into your HP before your respective defenses, especially when your HP is lower than your respective defenses, it's going to mitigate damage to both stats at the same time. So this might seem really basic, but you're actually getting like more damage mitigated throughout the whole game, right? Maybe you could have ate special attacks just a little bit better with that EV spread, maybe just a little bit better, but you mitigate so much more damage on the physical side, and it's just a better way to do it. You're safer into pretty much everything like this. So it looks really basic, but this is just a slightly, you know, easier way to do it. And you know, you ever heard the term like keep it simple? Like there's a reason why, like, you know, it's simple is effective. But long story short, when your HP is a lot lower than your other base stats, you want to put points into that thing first every single time. And let's check out the Inrto here. I wanted to remind you that like Helping Hand here could be a really, really good option to give you just a little bit more damage in situations where you need it. Dazzling Gleam is good. I think what I would do here is I would make this into Grass Terra for the few situations in which they want to lead a Mungus and you actually still would like the TR, so you can redirect Spores and not have to care about it. Very rarely you'd be clicking Terra on Inrto anyways, especially if we change ourselves to a Sash. Remember, Fairy Terra would be a good defensive typing against things like, you know, Urshi Darks and stuff like that. But if we have Sash, we know we can eat that attack anyways. We don't need our Terra for that, which means we can use our item for that, which means our Terra can be used for more specific matchups. So yeah, I think Grass is a good Terra here. And what I'm a big fan of Honestly, on entities like this, I cut this for Psychic, so I have Psychic and D-Gleam, and I make their set into this. Now, it's going to look like, you're like, what are you doing? Like, entity's supposed to be slow. It's a Trick Room Mon. And it doesn't have to be slow because you're a Tailwind team. You're a Tailwind team first, a Trick Room team second if they have additional speed control. Because your Cali has like full speed investment. So you want a dive buddy for Cali that can actually go hard and do a lot of damage. I think Entity's like a really, really good mon. People sleep on the fact that it has 95 base special attack. So like when they have something like a Kyogre or a Koraidon, you could just like chunk that Kyogre for like 50%. You can just Oko their Koraidon with Psychic, right? You can just Oko their Urshifu Water with Psychic. Isn't that ridiculous if you have your terrain boost? Like, that's kind of nice. People sleep on the fact that that Entity can be fast, and what you're actually wanting to do with this Entity is actually just have it go down so you can bring out your Urshifu, you can bring out your Amoonguss and like dictate play from there. It's very, very simple, but I like it a lot. I think the Dazzling Gleam is still really good. Psychic's really good, but it's just a good set. You got this one perfect. There's not a single thing I would really change here. I even like the additional 20 points right there. You don't need to put points in Spadef. It's really, really good. 0 speed, speed reduced. Perfect. Great job. The Urshifu. Yeah, the Urshifu is a little bit weird. I've used bulky Urshifu sets before. I actually think if this was me, I'm going to give you the set that I would use, but feel free to leave the Dread Plate on and have Detect. If you're more comfortable with that, that's fine. I actually think in a restricted format, though, you need Band to actually Oko a lot of these restricteds, things like, especially when you're double dipping your Dark, to Oko things like Kyogres, Curems, and other like bulky restricteds like Miraidons. You need an additional multiplier in a lot of those situations, and so what I like to do is I like to band it with Rock Slide, because giving a little bit AoE is not bad either, right? I like the Choice Band set. I think it's really, really good. I like to use my Urshifu as a closer, not necessarily as a lead. So if you like that as well, think about using the band set. But the EV spread looks something like this. And you can use the same EV spread on Urshifu Water or Urshifu Dark. Doesn't really matter because the main thing that you're trying to mitigate here is like AoE damage from like neutral stuff like ogres and stuff like that. So that's going to be... where is that team? Because I have the Urshifu spread somewhere. I think it was in my Lunala team right here. So it's right here. So this Urshifu set does a lot of stuff. And you don't have to go with the Terra that I had here. I think I had Grass Terra on it. And that was just to play around redirection on Amoonguss. So it's a little bit more aggressive. But I do think that the set right here, I'm going to explain it. It's basically the same set, it's a heavy HP set, full attack, 4-4 split right here, but the 44 speed lets you outspeed things that would normally be getting to like that 120 speed if they had like +1, -1 calcs from Icy Winds or Bleak Wind Storms. It would let you, even though we don't have any of those calcs, we are going to be able to outspeed the things that are made for those calcs. So for example, things like Goldangos are going to get to around that area. Things like, Dragonites, Gyarados. A lot of like non-restricted like support mons are going to get to like that 120 to be able to capitalize off like Icy Winds. And so we're going to be able to outspeed those while still massively underspeeding everything else for Trick Room. So it's really, really good. And we're speed creeping it by 2. Normally you'd only need to get to 120 to outspeed things like the Tornadus and Genies. That's the threshold we're trying to get to. We're speed creeping those by 2 while still massively underspeeding everything else. So we're basically just evolving the set that you already had, and I think you can keep Dark. I had the Grass there to play around Amoonguss if I wanted to lead this Pokemon, and I've also used like a Clover Cloak Ghost Terra set on Urshifu Rapid Strike, which I really, really like. I don't think this team needs that, but if that's something that seems attractive to you, think about using that as well. I think I have that posted on my Patreon in the Indianapolis regional team that I used. But very, very good set on Urshifu Water. Really, really good. This thing is going to mitigate like a lot of damage, and it's going to be really, really good. I think you can even you can even take some, if you're going to use the Choice Band. You can drop this down to like wherever the bump is, maybe like 196, and put the rest in Spadef. Should just think about that. Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon's a bit of a weird mon. I don't think we need Snarl. I think you actually need Knockoff on this thing. Because like, why wouldn't you use Knockoff? You could also do... I really like Knockoff on this thing. I think it's so good because like Snarl can get wide guarded, right? There already should be wide guarding versus this thing anyways. And if you just need to break their sash, another thing you could really do there is U-turn. And I don't hate that, right? This doesn't look bad, right? And I'm wondering what you have taunt here for. I'm just curious because like I want to know what you're trying to taunt. Are you trying to taunt Trick Room? I don't think that's a problem. Like you're trying to taunt Spore, that's something you need to taunt. Are you trying to taunt Imprison? Like what are we trying to taunt here? So just think about what that's for, because maybe you go like knock off instead of the taunt. But I could leave the taunt, right? I really like the set. I like the full speed investment. I think that you don't need this much HP. I would probably go down to about 202, maybe even 200. That seems about right. And then I would actually put like a little bit more into defense. That's just my opinion. And, you know, this is just how I would play this Pokemon, by the way. If you are really comfortable with your Snarl, feel free to keep it. But I think that being able to capitalize on the tempo of being able to like U-turn, like Dragon Cheer, Tailwind, U-turn out, it'd be really, really nice. Also, Protect on this guy could be pretty good. I like that you have Ghost Terror to avoid Fake Out, so good stuff on there. But yeah, I think that even having like a little bit more bulk could be more beneficial. Something like this would be pretty nice, I think. Just a little bit more bulk in some situations. I would like to calc something. Let's go into the damage calculator. So Flutter Mane. Let's do a standard Flutter Mane set versus Roaring Moon. So Roaring Moon. And Roaring Moon has like good base stats. It's one of like the best Pokemon like ever made. Like honestly, it is. So let's check out Dazzling Gleam. So Dazzling Gleam does a lot to Roaring Moon. Like absolutely just bodies us. I want to see how much damage though if we were to Terra, because like I was unsure at the start of that last game, which is why the first game I just let it go down. So Dazzling does that little, but let's see if we give it like that one wasn't that. All right, it was choice. I want to see if it was choiced though. Choice specs 43 right there. So there's like no way. I want to see what the Moonblast does, and this is before we even put any like investment on a Roaring Moon. Alright, so we're doing that, and the set that we have is right now 156.20. Okay, this is just for me, like, I'm kind of just looking around here, so yeah, that's definitely eats it. Like, if we take the Terra away, like, still massively gone, but like, when it's neutral, we can eat those just fine. If they were to have a Photosynthesis boost, it would look something like that. And so I think we want to make that not KO, which is definitely possible. So 44 there. So that's kind of what I was looking at. 44, which means we want to take a little bit out of here. Boost that up a little bit, and that's fine. So yeah, being able to know that you live that, being able to know that you could fight Flutter in every single situation is like kind of nice in my opinion. So yeah, that's just good to know. Because you couldn't really in that point go for the Dragon Cheer because you have to go Terra here, which means your Dragon Cheer you're only going to be given the +1. But if you needed to get Tailwind up to enable like this thing to beat their Flutter, or this thing to beat something like a Kyogre or something else that they have in the back, or I keep using Kyogre just because it's going to be a lot more popular. And if you're good against Kyogre, you're also good against Miraidon. So take that as you may. Like, it's just like they have like very similar stats, so you're good against both. But yeah, I think this is a better spread. Still keeps that same base speed, still outspeed things like what's it like? I think you're outspeeding most like Whims. You're outspeeding like a lot of like really, really weird mons by going full speed, and you're not getting outsped by other Roaring Moons. So I like that set a lot. Last one here. I don't think you need this guy. I think it's doing a lot of the same things Roaring Moon's doing at like a secondary backup level. And I think a Fairy Resist, standard Fairy Resist, to get yourself out of those pins would be very, very nice. So I would do a Moongus here. And this is just a secondary redirector too. So if you go like Roaring Moon, Cali, and then you bring out your Inrto and it's Sash and it takes 2 hits and you trade with them, and then you bring out your Amoonguss and you just redirect and you do it again, like that's a win up, like that's awesome. And it can also help you get up those Trick Rooms and other things like that. I actually don't know if we want Regenerator or Effect Spore, and a lot of people always default to that Regenerator, right? They always go into the Regenerator, but if we don't plan on switching, it's not important. I think I will still go Regenerator for the matchups we want to lead Amoonguss and go Trick Room, take some damage, pivot out, bring in like our Inrto or our Urshifu or something like that. That'd be nice. But Effect Spore is definitely viable. Don't sleep on it. It's a really, really good ability. I think that the Citrus Berry goes better here. If you're having a problem with like Sash Urshis, maybe you go Rocky Helmet, but Citrus Berry is really, really good here. This guy, what is the best Terra for this thing? It's hard to say. I don't dislike Dark Terra here, because I feel like there are still a lot of Prankster taunts, and I think being able to Dark Terra in front of a Cali Shadow is kind of nice. So I'm going to put Dark Terra on this thing, because I don't think we need, like, we don't need water, we don't need fire, we don't need any other weird Terras like that. I think just the defensive Terra versus, like, the things that definitely do pin us, and what pin our restricteds would be very nice. So I think that Protect is really good. So Protect, Rage Powder, Spore, and Pollen Puff. right? Just standard. Being able to cap off some of these guys pretty nice. Being able to deal some damage pretty nice. You don't, if you want to use Clear Smog over Pollen Puff, you can, but you don't need it. This guy, I think 236 is fine. The set that I like to use is just this. I think it's really, really good for this format. We're basically leaning onto our Terra to soak damage versus Cali Shadow in the Astrals and the Expanding Force being nullified, and things like, you know, Draining Kiss doesn't do anything if we don't Terra, so like I think we're fine here. I still like that heavy defense investment to be able to better leverage advantage versus like Incineroars and Urshifu's and stuff like that. And then you make this thing like speed reduce 0 speed to be able to underspeed stuff. If you also wanted to like make sure you could underspeed Torkoals, you could make this thing into like an Iron Ball set, but we don't need to. We actually want to take a little bit of Spadef out and make ourselves have an even number here as well. We want to get that to 220, so in case we get hit like a Ruination or a Super Fang, we're going to be able to still activate our Citrus Berry right there. So good set, nothing really wrong with it. Amoonguss is a pretty good Pokemon. It's a good pivot for a lot of these guys that get pinned by a lot of stuff. So yeah, I think it's a good team. So what we're going to do now is go on to Showdown and play a couple test games. So wish me luck. I think this team's going to function a lot smoother than the original version, but wish me luck. Okay, we got a mirror match with a Torkoal. Like, dang, I know that this is like a bad matchup. Like, Torkoal is a bad matchup, but I think that we have some big tools here. I wonder if they're gonna even go redirection, right? They should, because we have Urshi, right? We have Amoonguss. I think the right play here, though, is, honestly, I'm gonna try just something a little bit different here. I'm gonna try the Roaring Moon and the Amoonguss. And I think I'm going to go for Taunts and Spores. And I think I'm going to then close with my Cali and close with my Urshi. We're just going to play this matchup completely differently than the whole Dragon Cheer set, just because I want to show that we can do a lot of other things. So we have Taunts and we have Spores, right? So they should just go follow me because they're trying to stop the knockoff. And yeah, that's a lot of stuff happening that turn. Booster speeds, all the different stuff. So I think that what we want to do here is just go... I mean, they're going to Trick Room this turn. Yeah, I think we're fine. We just go Taunt here. And we're still going to try the Spore. No problem with that. We forced that Spore. If they want to go, like, Dazzling Gleam to rate the Roaring Moon, they can't stop all of it, right? Grass Terra, oh my gosh, they're gamers. But you know what they just did by doing that? You know what they just did by doing that? They just made themselves weak to our Cali, right? So, yeah, we get Spored. They follow me, though, so we're fine. So that thing's asleep. They're kind of stuck right here. I think that even Urshi might be able to Oko them. What do you think? Do we think it can? They didn't Trick Room. Yeah, so they got a little bit greedy. Yeah, we're gaming right now. And we're gonna pivot in our Cali, because we can get a regenerator proc. But yeah, you see how we like forced that Terra? And so now when it's time for us to win, we got that big damage. That big damage. Here we go. Big Dark. Nice Protect, bro. Nice Protect. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And now we just Wicked Blow here. We know that we're faster with them. Glacial Lance. And that's it. That's it, bro. Ally Switch. Oh my gosh. The gaming move. Not going to be enough out here, actually. And then the big scoop. Yeah, we take those wins. We definitely take those wins. Like, looking back at this. See how, like, we're dictating play and we're forcing our opponent into matchups where we're still fine? Like, they thought they were so cool playing for board. They're like, ha, I can stop Spore. Like, I have Grass Terra. And when you try and stop the Grass Terra, you're just opening yourself up to a weakness to that Cali Ice. Now remember, if we didn't have a Amoonguss on this team, that wouldn't have happened. So like now, like use this flowchart to your advantage, right, in future games. Such good stuff. I loved this. Yeah, and the Urshi just came in hot. That's so much damage to a Cali. Remember, if they didn't have Terra, they would have gotten absolutely O-code, like so bad from here. Yeah, that's great. That was a great first game. Let's go into another one. All right. Yeah, they even clicked the gamer move, Ally Switch. Cool. Yeah, I mean, and so it goes to show this team doesn't have to do like Roaring Mood, Cali, like flowchart every single time. Like there's so many other options. Groudon with King Gambit. I think King Gambit is better than I give it credit for in a lot of situations. But I think that like Amoonguss is good into King Gambit. I think Inrto is usable into King Gambit. The main thing we have to worry about here is Imprison Flutter. But remember, we're not using Trick Room, unless we want to use Trick Room. Like, I think we should try and Dragon Cheer, because, like, that's what the team's supposed to do. But, again, they're probably going to absolutely body us with that Flutter. Because they know that I would lead Flutter in every matchup instance. It's good into Urshi, it's good into Cali, like, which means, honestly, I should probably lead, like, Amoonguss Cali and just go, like, Rage Powder TR. Like, that would get us the win, but that's not what we're trying to practice here. We're trying to practice this lead. So, I think that both these are fine. And then I would still bring the Amoonguss. And then both these are good. Urshi and Inrto are really good. I'm going to bring the Inrto, which is so dicey and so greedy, but I think that it's the right way to do it. Okay. I wonder how much damage we do to these guys. The good news is we should be able to Tailwind here and just drop a Protect. I don't think that we're going to get bodied by like a Brick Break. I think that they're going to... I hope we don't get Swords Danced on. That's what I'm really hoping for. And if we do, we might have to like pivot out into Inrto. That's why I brought the Inrto, is to stop Sucker Punches and Rilla Terrain. Protect is so nice. Tailwind goes up. Koto, yes, yes. I like that play from them too. It's smart. All right, so here it is. Dragon Terra, no Kara, Lance. Ice Horse, Dragon Horse, Rodeo. Here we go. Max. Oh, dude, that Groudon just ate the Lance. Oh, that sucks for us, but like, oh, we're still eating it. Oh, they just scoop it. Yeah, we have the right mounts because right now the Roaring Moon just got the boost as well. So we're gonna be able to U-turn and then bring in our Inrto and do all that cool stuff. Nice, nice. So we'll take those wins as well. Yo, even in matchups where it's not optimal to do the correct lead. Remember, we said Amoonguss and Cali was a good play. Amoonguss Cali would have still beaten this, right? You redirect away the Gambit. I don't care about your P-Blades. Trick Room goes up. Pollen Puff, Lance, like, we're good to go. It just shows how, like, versatile, like, Cali Ice is. It can do, like, literally anything. Let's go into one more. Let's go into one more. Oh, my gosh. This team's cooking. All right, let's see. Ogre, there it is. We have all these little checks for Ogre, and now we can finally use it. That's a very, very cool-looking team. Probably like Sash, Urshi. I wonder if it's like Specs or Cloak on the Lecky. Cloak's actually probably on the Torn. So in this matchup, I will say it's a Trick Room game. And I'm going to try and get this Trick Room up by leading with the same lead of Roaring Moon and Cali. And I think this is what the taunt's for. I think you taunt the Imprison user, Terra Dragon to not die to the spout or the big damage, and then you just win with the stuff you have in the back. I think that like... I think that Spider is so good here. And I know if Baconair was using this team, they'd be bringing Spider, but I don't necessarily feel that comfortable with it here. But it's so good. It's so good. I think I'm going to bring Amoonguss. And I think I'll bring the Spider, because like we haven't really tested it that much yet. And it is so good here. If there was a matchup where you would use it, it's right here. So here's Torn and Ogre. So Torn, Ogre, yo, cruise control for cool out here. Dang. All right, I think this is fine. Let's actually think about what we need to get done in this matchup. They have to Tailwind to be able to even enable us to, like, outspeed the Roaring Moon. Otherwise, Roaring Moon threatens big with that knockoff. And I'm assuming they have Specs. So, like, we could U-turn and bring in Spider and Trick Room, and I don't think that's bad. We'd have to avoid Taunt here. But would you Taunt here? Hard to say. I'm going to go here in case that is sashed, and I will go Dragon Terra Trick Room. Water Terra? Okay. Tailwind. Nice. So we're going to... If we don't die... Yeah. If we don't die, we're gaming. Big gaming. And we're going to come in with... Both of these are really viable. But I like the Spider because we can just... Wide Guard from there and just get our first KO. Trick Room's up. And we Wide Guard the Ogre, who I'm assuming is Spexed. And we pin there. And I like the U-turn. Oh, sick. That works for me. We also block Bleak Winds in case this like doesn't KO for some reason. Never lucky no KO over there, but it's okay. We got a +1 attack boost. You're going to bring in your Ogre. We might go like Protect, hit. Oh, it's Urshi. Okay. They have Sucker. And they have that Ogre in the back. I actually like, I'm sure that's sashed, right? Hard one. I think we might have to hard switch that out for Amoonguss and just get the Lecky off the board. Wish we got that KO there because I'm sure that guy's cloaked. Alright. They didn't Sucker, by the way. Totally okay. Yep. And they didn't Sucker. So we have a Spore here into either of these, which is really, really nice. We can go Wide Guard Spore. Don't really care what they lock into. But, let's see. Yeah, Wide Guard. Do we even need to Wide Guard? That's a really, really good question. Because we can just liquidate the... I think we should Spore the Urshi. You could have Ice Beam, though. Because these moves are pretty just weak into some of those. You could have Ice Beam. I'd rather Spore there, then, and just liquidate. Yeah, I'm okay with that. The Wicked Bloated 64, we're at 61. We would lose it here, but I think if I get that off the board, I can win. Yeah, I like this play. Because we're also threatening. Yeah, I was going to say, that looked like banded damage. And the Sash might have been on the Lecky. So I like that. When we'll review it, we're going to look at that a little bit more. Last turn Trick Room, just go for a big Liquidate. I actually don't think there's a problem in pivoting out to get a second Regenerator proc, just to make sure that we can win. This is our last turn of Rain too, so I think we're in a really good spot. But yeah, we respected the Urshi's ability to... We forced them to have Sash there, and we knew that we had to take out that Ogre. So really good stuff. Like, this guy's probably like, what is this? How did I... Wait, you left, dude. You left. Yo, GG's. Yeah, we take those all the way to the bank. Yeah, we take those all the way. Like, this team cooked in every single matchup. And I think the rental code that was submitted, you know, if we go take a look at that, like, back over here, great code. Like, you guys can use this code in your games. Really good stuff. I love everything that they did with this team. And I've been actually waiting to record this video for a while until, like, I got back from Indianapolis, because, like, I wanted to give this team, like, the fixing I feel it deserved after we, like, know the meta. And I think with the way things went at Indy with, like, Miraidon winning, I think this team actually has, like, a better matchup in a lot of things now, because, like, it just leveraged such an advantage. Hopefully you like the changes. If we review those again, review those changes one more time. I think we just cleaned up the Cali spread. I really like the Sash Indity. It lets you dictate play a little bit more with the Indity, as the way to beat teams that use Indity is just to ignore the Indity and kind of leave it on the board, set up your boost, and then KO the Indity on the last turn, whatever speed control you have relevant. Now this Indity says, like, you actually can't ignore me. I'm going to KO your things that aren't restricted, so you got to take this thing out. It gets double tapped, and then you bring out the things you actually want to bring out. The Spider you knocked out of the park. Urshifu would clean up the EVs a little bit. I like the band set. If you want to go back to the Dreadplate set, you definitely can. You can put the Detect back, but this is a good EV spread. Think about using it. I like the U-turn. You saw how I played against the Ogre. Lets you leverage that advantage to actually maximize your Trick Room turns. And Amoonguss, you can see, like, Amoonguss is just a good mon. It definitely helps in a lot of different matchups. It cleans up and solidifies those, like, mid-game turns when you're trying to regain an advantage. It's like the only comeback mechanic I think this team really has. So hopefully you like this one. If you guys have a team you want to submit, think about checking out the Patreon, link to it in the description, even the lowest tier. The $2 tier gets access to this post. All the posts I have, I'm making all my rentals for all the teams I use get posted on Patreon. You get access to the Discord as well. We've been doing a bunch of cool stuff. We have a Patreon tournament coming up. You know, that's basically it. I don't want to be a shill, but think about checking out the Patreon if you want some help making your teams just a little bit better, if you want to make a video just like this one. And other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out. I'll see you guys next time.